Narcissists are demons. Okay, that's a popular one you see, like especially on different social media platforms. Like I'll be talking, I'll be communicating stuff, and people will be like, "They're all demons. They're demonic. They're devoid of all this kind of stuff." I'm like, okay, there are people out there that appear that way. There are people out there that are very messed up, and there are people out there that are very broken in a lot of ways. Now, do I believe in demons? Yes. Do I believe that they're all in narcissists? No. Okay. And when it comes down to it, like a lot of times they'll attribute like the demon aspect to like when the narcissist rage and their eyes go black. I'm sure you've seen that before. If you've ever been in that type of relationship or if you've seen that rage, it gets really scary. They come yelling, they're screaming at you, they're right in their face, and all you can see is their pupils completely dilated and it looks completely black. Doesn't mean they're demonic. I've watched Supernatural too. I know what demons look like. It's all like that, but it doesn't mean they're demonic. That does happen when people rage, when people get so mad, when people have different chemical things that go on in their body where their pupils actually dilate that much and they come across as demonic. But it doesn't mean that all narcissists are demonic. I would say all narcissists are very broken, are very battered, and are very bruised. Now, as I say that, a lot of you guys are going to start like perking up and being like, wait a second. Okay, I'm not saying that we just need to love them and make them all better. Okay, but what I am saying is the majority of narcissists come from abusive relationships. They come from broken homes. They come from people that have abused them and manipulated them. They come from people that grew up without having any type of emotional support or emotional development. So they don't know how to process their emotions. They don't know how to deal with the things that they're feeling or what they're thinking. And as a result, they're not going to share that because that's too dangerous, that's too scary. And so they're going to keep that to themselves and bury it deep down inside. Now, this isn't a video of like, oh, like narcissists like giving you hope or like we just need to love. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm the narcissist. Like, I've been there. I've done that. I've been in the shit. And I've been the king of the shitheads. But I don't think narcissists are demonic. I think that narcissists have a lot going on in their heads that wage war every single day, and the majority of them lose the battle every single day. Why do I say that? Because I fight a battle every single day in my head. With therapy, it gets easier. With working through different things, it gets easier step by step, but it is still a constant battle. It is still a constant fight every single day to not give in to tendencies, to not give in to thoughts, to not give in to feelings that just take me back to the same void, the same darkness, the same place where I'd be in if I wasn't willing to be honest. And if I wasn't willing to admit where I've actually been, who I've actually been, and everything in between. Do I think that there are demonic forces out there? Yes. Do I think they're in all the narcissists? No. Narcissists a lot of times don't go into a relationship for the purpose of abusing and hurting other people. Are there a lot of narcissists out there that do? Yes, the majority of them do it. You have sociopaths that go into relationships and psychopaths that go into relationships for the purpose of hurting other people. But a lot of times a narcissist goes into a relationship not realizing, not thinking, not understanding that they're stuck in a cycle. They're stuck in a cycle that they're doomed to repeat day in, day out. And they're stuck in a cycle to try to fill a void that they don't understand, to try to fill a void that they can't comprehend, and to try to get to a place where they can find something. And majority of time, they just replace something with themselves. And as a result, themselves become the best reality. Themselves become the best option in the moment. So everything centers around the narcissist. Everything centers around me. You see, if I can have a world that's around me, then it's not that bad. I get what I want. I do what I want. Like, all the self-gratification, like, that stuff falls under there. But it's also void of feelings. It's void of a lot of empathy. It's void of a lot of connection. It's void of interaction with other humans. Because it's just about me. And life's a lot more than just me. It's taken me a long time to realize that. It's taken me a long time to acknowledge that, to feel that, to understand that. Growing up, I would just say, the world doesn't revolve around me. Like, I would make jokes about it. I would make jokes about how perfect I was. I would make jokes about how humble I was. I would make jokes about, like, don't you know the world revolves around me? Like, literally, I'd make jokes about it because that's what I thought. And people would laugh it off, but they would still, like, pay homage to where it's due. So as a result, I just continue to do it. I just continue to be like, hey, this is me. This is my world. Like, you're blessed to live in it. But with narcissism, narcissists have feelings. There's a touchy one. Narcissists have feelings. People are like, no, they're demons. They're devoid of all emotion. They're devoid of all feelings. They can't have empathy, etc., etc. Narcissists have feelings. Pretty sure almost every self-aware narcissist on any platform would tell you that they do have feelings. Maybe they don't know how to process those feelings. Maybe they don't know how to engage in those feelings, but they do have feelings. The thing is, like, when I have different feelings and I don't know how to process them, the easiest way is to go back to default. So default mode is rage. Default mode is anger. I'm feeling vulnerable. Okay, I'm going to rage at you. I'm feeling unsafe. Okay, I'm going to yell at you. I'm feeling belittled. Okay, I'm going to belittle you back. A lot of it comes down to just that aspect. I'm going to default to whatever is the easiest emotion to do. Because a lot of narcissists don't have the emotional fortitude, don't have the emotional growth, don't have the emotional development throughout their lives to get to the place where they can actually process emotions. They can process shame and they can process guilt and not use that as a jumping off point to lash out at everybody else. So in talking through it, narcissists aren't demons. They have feelings. They're people. They're very broken. They're very bruised. They're very battered. And as a result, they turn to unhealthy ways to be able to cope with that by manipulating, controlling other people, by gaslighting, and by running away, by devaluing you and discarding you. Is any of that me saying any of it's right? Hell no. I'm just saying they're not demons. I'm also not saying you should cut them slack, and I'm also not saying you should just love on them and it makes them better. I'm not saying that. Somebody's going to try to twist my words. I'm not saying that. If you're with a narcissist now, and you're seeing maybe change, or you're seeing hope, what I want you to do is take a step back and look at a couple things. Look at consistency, look at honesty, and look at vulnerability. Okay? If your narcissist is not showing honest vulnerability and consistent change, get the fuck out. Because I'm not on here to bring hope. I'm not on here to say to a bunch of people like, oh, just love them and it'll all be better. Like, no. If they're not willing to change, if they're not willing to invest in themselves with therapy to grow, to get better, themselves, not together, themselves therapy, if they're not willing to invest in themselves and grow, and if they're not willing to come to a place where they're going to be like, hey, I'm going to be honest with you. It might be painful, might be awful, it'll suck 100%, but I'm going to be honest with you. If they're not going to be honest, and if they're not going to be changing consistently, not just for the day or the week like they normally do when they make promises to you, if they're not going to be consistently changing and have honest vulnerability, then leave. Because that person doesn't care enough about themselves and doesn't care enough about you to actually put any effort to grow themselves to a place where they can have healing in their lives and grow in a relationship together. I feel like this one's a little controversial, so I'm sure I'll get blown up some in the comments. But I'm just on here to bring awareness about narcissism, healing, growth, and change. I'm on a journey every single day, every single week. I'm in therapy every single week, every Wednesday. My designated time to go to therapy. And every day, every time I walk out, there's normally like three things. I either feel really good, feel really awful, or be like, heck, we need to change this therapy to like 3 times a week because there's so much crap we have to work through. Day by day, piece by piece, I'm working on growing in my awareness, growing in my change, my healing, to continue that consistent growth every single day of who I need to be to grow and become the best person I can possibly be. And I'm dealing with that in the mind and the battle every single day. But a lot of times I'm able to provide people another perspective. and be able to try to lower the veil a little bit on the narcissist mind and be able to say, like, hey, this is what's going on the narcissist side. And a lot of times that offers people healing, whether that's some version of closure or clarification. That's when I talk with people on one-on-ones and try to work through stuff. But then also in like coaching opportunities where I coach other people, because I notice, like, hey, like right now as you're talking about your abuse, you're minimizing it. You're not acknowledging like who you actually are. You're not actually acknowledging like your capacity to be able to change and grow. And so I work with people one-on-one. If you're interested in that, reach out, rawmotivation.com, click on one-on-one. Got a lot of stuff that's going on. We've got different updates on the website, got videos that are up there. The podcast is linked to there. The podcast has different stuff than what you hear on here. And then we also have the updates about the NARC app that's coming out. Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. You can actually go on now and sign up through the web version. And what it is a resource for you to be able to get involved in a community, but you to be able to see tools and learn lessons and be able to see stuff in kind of like a scripted out format, like a video format of what narcissism is, like how to deal with it, like the lies that they give, like gaslighting, be able to listen to different audio stuff, be able to connect with different creators on there who are trying to help build that awareness. If you're interested in that, check it out, rawmotivations.com. Would love to have you follow on different social media platforms, so TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, and Facebook. Thanks so much.